Free will is an illusion you maintain simply to feel safe. The decisions you made today, who you accommodated, what you apologized for, how you felt about your own success were likely dictated by someone else. An apex predator hiding in your inner circle has systematically conditioned your reality without ever raising their voice. I am going to show you the 7 silent habits that manipulators use to completely hijack human autonomy. Most people only discover they are being puppeteered when the strings are already tightly wrapped around their neck. By the end of this video, you will recognize the invisible triggers controlling you, including one specific, devastating technique I call the shadow reversal. And I will give you the exact 7-word phrase that neutralizes every single one of these habits instantly. Think about the last time you interacted with that one specific person in your life. You know exactly who I mean. You walked into the room feeling perfectly fine, confident, perhaps even excited. But 10 minutes later, you walked away feeling entirely drained. You felt a heavy, sinking guilt, though you couldn't pinpoint exactly what you did wrong. You felt an urgent, almost desperate need to apologize to them, to make it up to them, or to suddenly change your own plans to accommodate theirs. They didn't yell at you. They didn't explicitly demand a single thing. In fact, they were exceedingly quiet. They used a subtle sigh, a slightly delayed response, a microscopic shift in their facial expression. Yet, you walked away absolutely convinced that accommodating their unspoken needs was your own idea. You felt the suffocating weight of an invisible debt. You were actively dismantling your own boundaries, handing over your time and energy, and the terrifying part is, you thanked them while doing it. That exhausting, hollow feeling is not a coincidence. It is the execution of the first dark habit, the phantom obligation. The quiet predator doesn't force you to submit. They simply create a psychological void of disapproval, and your own deep-seated anxiety rushes in to fill it. They weaponize your empathy against you, making you negotiate against yourself just to relieve the sudden, unbearable tension they engineered. The quiet person doesn't have to manipulate you. They create the void, and you manipulate yourself. Did you feel that? That drop in your stomach? If you are feeling a knot in your chest right now, it is because your subconscious recognizes the trap you are already caught in. Imagine you are working tirelessly for a demanding boss, or pouring your heart into a romantic partner for the first few weeks. They shower you with praise. You feel valued. You feel safe. Then, abruptly, the praise completely stops. They don't criticize you. They just give you absolutely nothing. Complete, deafening neutrality. You are experiencing the second habit, the calculated withholding. This is the dark, human application of intermittent reinforcement. Behavioral psychology proves that a subject will work obsessively to the point of exhaustion if a reward is highly unpredictable. Machiavellian manipulators do this to humans. By randomly withholding basic validation, they turn you into an approval addict. You begin desperately performing tricks, overworking, and calibrating your entire personality just to get a microscopic hit of their approval. You see this in toxic relationships daily, the partner who goes from intensely loving to coldly distant without explanation, forcing you to constantly chase the affection that was stolen from you. Now, picture a new colleague or a new friend sitting you down over coffee. They lean in close and share a deeply personal, slightly embarrassing secret with you. It feels incredibly intimate. It feels like trust. You immediately feel a biological obligation to match their vulnerability. So you open up and hand over a real, damaging secret of your own. You have just fallen for habit number 3, the asymmetrical confession. Robert Greene warns against this exact trap in the 48 Laws of Power. The predator manufactures a fake or incredibly low-stakes vulnerability to forcefully trigger your reciprocity reflex. They confess a minor mistake, making you feel safe enough to admit your own deep frustrations with the company or your family. They now hold live ammunition against you, while you hold a blank cartridge. They have successfully mined you for leverage without you even realizing it. But everything I have just told you is only half the picture. Extracting your secrets and withholding validation is just the baseline setup. The truly dangerous part, the part that most people never see coming until it is far too late, is how they systematically alter your connection to reality. You excitedly tell a partner or a parent about a major promotion you just earned. You are glowing with pride. They smile, but their tone is completely flat as they say, "That's great. It's a lot of extra hours, though. I hope you can handle the stress. You know how overwhelmed you get." Instantly, your joy evaporates. This is habit number 4, the micro-invalidation. This is emotional sniper fire. The predator cannot stand your elevation because it threatens their control, so they inject a microscopic dose of doubt into your triumphs. What most people never realize about this habit is that it is highly deniable sabotage. If you get upset, they simply claim they were just being supportive and looking out for you. It silently conditions you to associate your own success with anxiety, ensuring you never confidently outgrow their influence. Next, observe habit number 5, the isolation wedge. A toxic friend doesn't overtly tell you to stop seeing your family. That would cause rebellion. Instead, after every single family dinner, they simply ask, "Why does your brother always speak to you with that condescending tone?" They are planting tiny, invisible seeds of paranoia. Niccolo Machiavelli advised rulers to divide and conquer to maintain absolute authority. The manipulator silently fractures your support system by highlighting tiny, often fabricated flaws in your loved ones. Over months of subtle conditioning, they become the only person who truly understands you. They haven't built a physical cage around you. They have simply convinced you to lock the door yourself. Pause for a moment. Think about the people in your life. Has anyone ever subtly turned you against someone you love? If a specific face just flashed in your mind, you already know the answer. Habit number 6 is perhaps the most draining: engineered helplessness. You ask a roommate or a colleague to handle a simple, shared task. They agree, but they do it so poorly, so incompetently, that it creates twice as much work for you. When you confront them, they act overwhelmed and apologize profusely, saying they just aren't as smart or capable as you are. Your ego is slightly flattered, and out of frustration, you just do the task yourself. You have been played. They are weaponizing incompetence to train you to stop asking them for anything. They become a parasite on your competence, silently forcing you to carry their weight while they play the innocent victim. But all of these habits culminate in the ultimate, most devastating mechanism of silent control. The 7th habit. I call it the shadow reversal. It happens when you finally reach your breaking point. You gather the courage to confront them about their behavior. You lay out the facts. You express your hurt. You expect an argument, or perhaps, finally, an apology. But they do not yell. They do not argue the facts. Instead, their face goes entirely blank. Their voice drops to a soft, chilling, almost clinical whisper. They look at you with eyes full of profound, agonizing pity, and they say, "I am so sorry you are perceiving it that way. You must be under a massive amount of stress to invent something like this. I'm really worried about your mental health. It feels like the floor has vanished beneath your feet." You suddenly question your own memory. You question your sanity. The shadow reversal is the apex predator's masterstroke, committing the crime, acting as the concerned bystander, and convincing the victim to apologize for bleeding. If you ever see this blank stare of weaponized pity, stop immediately. Do not say another word. You are walking into a psychological trap designed to permanently dismantle your grip on reality. So, how do you neutralize the shadow reversal and completely break these silent control habits? You must become an absolute void when they attempt to gaslight you with pity, or use the phantom obligation to make you feel guilty. Do not over-explain yourself. Do not bring up more evidence to prove your point. Do not raise your voice. That is exactly what they want. It shows they control your emotions. Instead, plant your feet firmly. Hold uninterrupted eye contact. Breathe slowly through your nose. And deliver this exact 7-word phrase in a flat, unyielding, monotone voice. My perception is not up for debate. If they try to deflect again, or play the victim, remain entirely silent. Lean back. Let the suffocating, unbearable weight of the silence completely crush them. Force them to break the tension. You fight a ghost by refusing to acknowledge its illusions. You can also use the mechanics of silent control ethically to command absolute respect and protect your boundaries. The next time someone interrupts you, insults you, or attempts a micro-invalidation in a public setting, do not snap back aggressively. Look directly at them. Stop speaking entirely. Remain completely, uncomfortably silent for full seconds, letting everyone in the room feel the agonizing awkwardness of their disrespect. Then, without breaking eye contact, say calmly, "Are you finished?" You have just weaponized the void to establish total, undeniable dominance without ever raising your emotional temperature. I am not teaching you these 7 dark habits so you can become a toxic manipulator. I am teaching you this because the world is crawling with predators who are already using these exact tactics against you every single day. This knowledge is your psychological armor. The most dangerous cage is not made of iron bars. It is constructed of subtle sighs, withheld validation, and weaponized pity. The moment you see the strings, the puppet master loses all their power. Who is the true silent strategist in your life right now? Have you ever been trapped by someone's phantom obligation? Or nearly lost your mind to a shadow reversal? Share your specific experiences in the comments below. Subscribe to Nicolo. Join the elite few who understand how human nature truly operates and refuse to be played. Until next time, stay fiercely observant, remain flawless in your strategy, and always remember, trust no one's silence.